Nicholas and Matthew Jackson, as they now want to be referred to as, took shots at CM Punk on today's or last night's episode of AEW Dynamite as they move to a more serious side of themselves as EVPs. We're going to talk about the promo they cut backstage with Renee Paquette in just a minute. But what's up, people? My name's Mex, the WrestleManiac, if you will, back with another episode of Revolution Radio alongside my co-host NK.
Yo, people, it's your boy NK, man. Yeah, man. I say this every week, man, but it's another eventful show, man. Another eventful show. There's a lot to talk about. Yeah, man. I'm enjoying Dynamite again, man. I'm enjoying it.
It was a good show. It really was. It was a really good show with a lot of good action, progressing of storylines. I think one thing dawned on me, which we'll talk about when we get to that point in the show. But what is it now? 3 episodes into the new year, and I'll say, yeah, 3 relatively good shows that feel like AEW again.
Yeah,
doing a lot of good stuff.
Definitely. There's a lot to talk on, man. There's a lot to talk on.
Yeah. Big up everyone that's watching live. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new here to WRESTHINGS. And of course, if you want to catch Revolution Radio just as the podcast version, you can get it on the audio feed. Search WRESTHINGS in any of your podcast providers. You will find Revolution Radio there, the E and the weekly WRESTHINGS podcast. So let's get into it. This show, it had so much good stuff up and down the card, like we said. And the show started off with Christian Cage versus Dustin Rhodes. This is for the TNT title. Dustin Rhodes that has never held a AEW title at this point, and he's obviously one of the originals. So I guess, that's the kind of story that they were telling throughout this. Christian Cage obviously had his family by his side, the patriarchy, the faction. They were all there. Really solid match, I would say. This match was very fun. I think both men got all their kind of greatest hits in, all the great moves and everything. And I think Dustin Rhodes provided a really good challenger to Christian Cage. In the end, we got Christian Cage retaining the title, put him away with a kill switch. What was your thoughts on this opening match?
Yeah, I thought it was a solid match. I can't lie, when I first saw the Dynamite card, I was like, I'm not really fond of this match. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend it was like a barn burner, but it was a solid match. Wasn't Dustin supposed to retire last year?
Was it? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I think what happened was that Dustin maybe didn't say at the top of the year. I think he said he's got a year left. So maybe it was like somewhere through the year where that was said. So I think he's got maybe a bit more time to go. But he's largely unharmful, wrestles a good match when needed, ready to bleed, which is always a tick in my book. So I don't mind Dustin at all, really. Like if he calls it a day, what is he going to do anyway? Coach or something?
Yeah, I think probably like just be like a figure backstage and coach a lot of these young guys. He's kind of like, I think the Nightmare Factory's done anyways, but he will kind of be that parental figure, that old elder statesman that all companies need, to be honest. And he's been there since day dot, and he's he's just somebody who's been around the business for like generations. So it never hurts to have someone like Dustin backstage. And listen, for a man who's been around as long as he has, like, he can still like go, like really go. So like credit to him, like all credit to him, because like this match was a solid affair. And he's had like really good matches in the past and AEW. So yeah, Dustin's one of those ones where when you look back at his AEW run, it's been like, solid.
Yeah, it definitely has been solid. Do you remember that what was that match he had in the pandemic? Like that hardcore match or something? Like it was. I think it was a tag.
Was it Brody?
No,
Was it
no, no.
Brody
He had a
Lee?
match. I think Butcher
Okay.
and Blade in the match as well.
Yes, yes. It was like a bunkhouse match.
Bunkhouse match.
It
That's
was a
the one.
bunkhouse
Like,
match. Yeah,
yeah, he killed it in that match, and then I think he did have
yeah,
a good match against Brody Lee.
yeah.
I'm trying to think. There was another match that I always remember. I think he had a match with Dust Cody, obviously.
Yeah. The
Um,
famous like blood. Yeah, the famous match where they both bled.
yeah. No, he's
Yeah.
he's done some solid work when called upon, to be honest.
Yeah,
So,
no,
and like you
Dustin.
say, he's probably doing the backstage stuff already now, anyway, in
Yeah,
terms of coaching and
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see. Nick Wayne obviously got involved during this match, let's say before the finish, trying to support his father figure, Christian Cage. It came to a 2 count in the end when he tried rolling him over. But yeah, good opening match. Probably beat everyone's expectations in terms of coming into this match. We move on swiftly to backstage. Swerve Strickland is with Renee Paquette, and Swerve again, he's letting his manifesto be known. He's coming for the AEW World Title. He's gonna have eyes on the main event. Main event being Samoa Joe versus Hook. Doesn't care who's gonna come out as champion. He's basically saying he's got next up. Renee reminds him of the threat of Hangman Page. He's very honest here and says that, you know, Hangman is like a hell of a competitor. Took him to his limits and stuff like that. But yeah, he'll put away Hangman if need be. Then he's not going to stand in his way per se. So he can't beat Swerve. So yeah, Swerve still just kind of marching his way up the hill till he reaches the top of the mountain. What I took notice today of these sunken eyes that he's drawing on.
It's
Like
eyeliner. I don't get it. Like I
yeah,
noticed it. I noticed it last week, but I said, you know what? Maybe it's the lighting. These are creating shadows in his eyes. But then, obviously, in the last segment, like when the bright lights were on him, I said, "Oh, this is eyeliner."
yeah.
Why? Like, it's,
Yeah.
it's a different look. Like, I don't know. Do I like it? Not particularly. No, I think it's a bit weird, but you know. Because his
And this is the
character
one
isn't
thing.
even that. His character isn't even like
Yeah.
that type. Like if Darby was to come out wearing eyeliner, fine. But you're not
Yeah.
bloody Undertaker for you to be wearing eyeliner. Like I don't get it.
This is it. And to be honest, I've said this for a long time. There is a complete, like, what comes out of his mouth, pause, in terms of his persona is very cool. But from then how he kind of dresses character wise to then when there was the Mogul embassy or something,
Yeah,
which makes you think they're on some money thing, but then the rest of
yeah,
the man don't look like they're part of that.
yeah,
And then now, like you're saying, the makeup and like I can't remember what match it was. Like it was literally just like eyeliner. Like yesterday, he had clearly drawn here on his like face, like
yeah,
his eyes looked sunken. So yeah, I just don't really understand the connection. It's like, are you trying to be cool? Are you trying to be
yeah.
dark? It's yeah,
It's a weird one because I think right now, if you remove the eyeliner, the look makes sense. Like
mm,
the fur coat, it makes sense. Cool. He's someone who's supremely confident in himself, very showy, very flashy. Fine. But then the eyeliner is just like, huh? It's like
mm,
it's one of these things with Swerve. It's a minor concern now. But obviously when he if he is to win the title, which you all assume him to do, it's gonna be one of these things where he needs to kind of like right now I feel like Swerve's got 80% of his character there. Like
yeah,
80% is fully realized, but then there's like 20% where it's like, we don't know. So, like,
maybe still experimenting.
yeah, because even that, aside from his aesthetics, we said sometimes is Swerve a cool guy or is he a super villain? Is he like what? And that's something that in a title reign we saw it with MJF, for example. When the spotlight is on you, you can get away with these things when you know you're not in every segment or your segment isn't the most important one on the show. But when you're opening and closing shows, closing pay-per-views, you know, your segment is what the company's built around. You got to have everything in balance. You got to have everything in check. And it's difficult. It's a massive responsibility. But little things like this may seem insignificant now. But when it comes to like, you know, him eventually holding the title, if the character's not fully realized, this could, you know, potentially have a negative impact later on down the line. So these are things why it may seem nitpicky now, because it's not just the eyeliner thing with Swerve. It's like a few little things here and there where it's like, you might need to tweak this before, you know, the spotlight's all on you, and now all everything about you is put under the microscope. That's what a championship reign does. You're under the microscope 24/7.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, I famously critiqued Nana and you know, just what does Nana give Swerve? What does he offer Swerve? And then all of a sudden the dance popped off.
Yeah.
So I was left with egg on my face in that respect. But even then, I would then still argue like the dance is great and all, like the fans love it. I love it. I love the song, but it's like, does what is happening in the background while Swerve is making an entrance equal what Nana's doing? Like he's portraying a serious character and everything, and then you just got he's like your jester in the back, kind of messing around, entertaining the crowd.
I think Nana's role is kind of like the distraction, like for everyone. Like, oh, people like, even we've seen it in Swerve matches now, where like we saw it in the Hangman match, where Nana's the dancing is so distracting, where his opponents take their eye off Swerve and they start paying attention to Nana, and it gives Swerve an advantage in the match. I've seen Nana be used as almost like a guinea pig. Like, okay, Pete, you're dancing cool. People will start paying attention to you, and then in the middle of a match, they'll lose focus, and then that's when I can gain an advantage. So Nana, it's fine. It's the rest of the mogul where I'm like, because he doesn't really use them that much.
Yeah.
He uses Brian Cage here and there, and the rest of them, like, they look like just off of like image alone, they look great, but they don't feel like a faction
at all.
It just feels like Swerve and Nana and maybe Brian Cage here and there.
He's the heavy, he's the loaded gun.
Yeah, even Brian Cage is here and there, but it's really just Swerve and Nana. Because I think Swerve and Nana as a duo, just seeing them on TV together, like it shouldn't work. Because you're right, when you break it down logically, like what is it? But it just works. It just adds to the thing. Because let's say Swerve is to win the title, what's the first thing everyone's doing?
Yeah. This is it.
Like, the whole crowd is just doing this as soon as Swerve wins. So, like,
yeah, it's a bit of a, for me personally, it's a bit of a disconnect. Like I said, as much as I love it, it's just like, where are we going in terms of the overall package? But I guess there's still time. We don't have to have all the answers today. And as for, you know, the Mogul Embassy side of things, you know, we'll get to their segment, but it can't come to Dynamite. That man can't do anything right. Any other show in the entire world, they're world beaters. But when it comes to Dynamite, that man can't do nothing right. But we'll get there. Also backstage, we had Chris Jericho. He was cutting a promo, basically saying that, you know, Battle of the Belts and talking through that. Did you see Battle of the Belts, by the way? Have you seen that match?
Yeah, I saw the street fight. Yeah, it was really good. It was really good.
That was a great match. Yeah, great match. So he obviously said we didn't lose. We were cheated out by the Don Callis family, who literally ripped it away from us, the championships, in regard to, you know, who was it that Sammy was going to jump on? Ricky Starks and Will Hobbs, Powerhouse Hobbs pulled Ricky Starks out the way, and Sammy Guevara just literally fell like a sack of potatoes and then got pinned. So Jericho wants Don Callis family. Matt Sydal comes out of nowhere, and Matt Sydal was like, look, you need to look within yourself. I'm saying all this motivational stuff. You need to face someone that's beaten you before, i.e. himself. They make some, you know, WWE reference to, you know, you're born to do it and all of this kind of stuff to his previous character, Evan Bourne. And then they are going to have this match on Rampage. So, yeah, I think motivation to kind of get to this match is a bit weird with Matt Sydal. I think Jericho got a positive reaction, or at least not a super negative one, I would say. I didn't hear any crowd booing or anything, and it looks like they're at least still trying to keep him off the main show, keeping him backstage, letting him wrestle on Rampage.
Like not even
Yeah,
Collision,
yeah,
Rampage. Like they
yeah,
put him on
yeah,
Battle in the Belts and Rampage. Like yeah, like they're
yeah.
like okay, like we're not gonna take you off TV entirely, but you know, yeah,
He
not
has
on
to
our
do his
flagship
time.
show. Yeah,
Yeah, he's in what's
yeah,
that place that they say that you go before heaven?
purgatory.
Purgatory. He's in
Yeah,
purgatory right now. So yeah, he's just I guess getting by fighting people like Matt Seidel, which is very, very random. Cool. Next on the show, we had a tag match: Trent Beretta and Orange Cassidy versus Commander and Penta El Zero. Ray Phoenix came out for this as well. I for some reason I thought because the whole faction was out, I thought is Pac returning.
yeah.
I don't know, had a weird inkling that Pac was going to return here. It never happened, but and it was weird when they said that this is the first time Trent Beretta and Orange Cassidy have ever tagged.
Yeah, because they've done like multi-mans, like trios, but I guess this is the first time they've probably like tagged. Because
Yeah,
they've done, I know they've been in like multi-mans together, but yeah, that's a weird one though. Because I feel like I've seen them tag with each other all the time, but apparently not. It's one of those things.
yeah, that's how I felt. Yeah, but yeah, these lot put on a really decent match, fast paced. You know, Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta keeping up with the Luchadors, which was fun, and there was some high flying stuff in there as well. You saw Cassidy get the win with no, did
Trent
he
Beretta.
landed an orange. Yeah. Trent Beretta got the win.
Yeah,
Orange Cassidy put away Commander with the orange punch. And then yeah, Trent finished it. Following this match is where things got interesting. So the Undisputed Kingdom come out. I even like the way they kind of blended Orange Cassidy's music with Undisputed Kingdoms. And Roderick Strong gets into the ring and he's basically saying that he wants his match with Orange Cassidy, this, that, and the other. Just a lot of and this is, I guess, where you see in some degrees Roderick Strong's not a great promo because
yeah,
it sounded a bit rambly, like, okay, we know what you're
yeah,
getting to, sort of thing, but like it wasn't
yeah,
engaging enough to kind of talk for that long.
yeah,
Orange Cassidy in the end just done what Orange Cassidy's been doing. He just said, look, if you want to have a title match, cool, let's do it right now. Like Roderick Strong fainted like he was going to do it, backed off his top and everything like that, and then said, no, if he's going to do it, it's going to be on the big stage. It's going to be at the pay-per-view Revolution, Roderick Strong versus Orange Cassidy for the international title. And I think that's more or less set in stone now.
yeah.
The one line that hit me like a ton of bricks when he said it is, so we're going to have this match in 6 weeks, and you're going to know for 6 weeks I'm gonna beat you. Basically, I'm gonna become the next champion. You've got to kind of live with that for 6 weeks. He said something to that effect. Now, I liked it in some aspects of like him being like I'm gonna just like this ghost over you. Like no matter what you do over the next 6 weeks, you're gonna meet me at Revolution and you're gonna lose. And it's like you've got that to think about. So I like the line in that aspect. But 6 weeks to this match, and they've like announced it now, and it's like they've already started building it maybe about 2 to 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
How do we get here not, without it being too painful?
6 weeks is a long, like I feel like they've been building since like World's End, been building pay-per-view super early, which is fine because we have a sense of direction, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't have I would have announced this like at least 2 weeks later. Like I would have announced this, like I would have had just Roderick Strong picking up wins and maybe have them like, I would have maybe had this segment, but not announced the match. Maybe be like, I've spoken to Tony Khan. He says I'm gonna get a title match soon, and then just because 6 weeks is a long time, and I don't know what unless Orange keeps defending the belt in between that time. But I don't know. I don't know how you, because like I said, Roderick Strong's not a great talker. Orange Cassidy's not known for his talking. So how else are we going to sell this match?
This is
That's
that.
the problem,
This is what dawned upon me as the minute
that's
he
the
said
problem.
that.
It's like you can't, unless you get creative, and then you could do this in the sense where, but again, this can only last like maybe 2 weeks, where you have like Undisputed Kingdom versus Best Friends in that a series of like multi-man matches, like a trios match, but that will only last you like maybe like 2 weeks. You can only do that for like that 2 weeks max. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm really excited for the match. Like, this is the match I want.
I hope I'm still excited in 6 weeks' time. Is my issue.
I don't know how they stretch this out. Because the match is all but announced. All we need is the graphic. Like, it's all but announced. So unless we, I'm thinking unless you have like Roderick Strong run through Best Friends, like maybe he does Chuck Taylor next week, Trent Beretta the week after that. No, Danhausen the week after that. Then Trent Beretta is kind of like the final one before you get to Cassidy.
There's ways. You've
I'm
outlined.
trying to find a way to stretch it in it. Like,
You've outlined some good ways that I'm sure they're gonna call upon and use. I just felt okay, and as well, I'll tell you what's also playing in my mind. So anyone that doesn't know, we've got a Discord that comes along with our YouTube channel membership. So you can sign up to be a YouTube channel member. You can join our Discord and talk wrestling with us. Someone said last week in the Discord, I won't put out their name just in case it doesn't work out for them. They said that they're tired of United Kingdom already. Everyone on the Discord jumped on them, said that, I beg, rest. It's been 2 weeks. It's literally been 2 weeks. Like, you can't be tired of them already.
Huh? Tired of what? They haven't even woken up.
Nothing had really started, but I guess I that was off the back of that Daily's Place promo, if you remember, that they cut last week, being probably quite similar to the initial promo of when they showed up at the top of the year, in regards to their, what they want to achieve as a group and all this kind of stuff, just without the MJF stuff. It was quite similar, but I still didn't think that's grounds to say you're tired of them already. Anyway, getting into this week, I looked at this. They said, Roderick Strong said the 6 weeks thing until the match. And I just thought, now we're really going to see now how much these lot can do or manage without Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Like this Adam Cole injury, especially over this 6 week period, we're going to see how much this is a true hindrance. And it was good to see him later on the show where he had a segment. We'll talk about that shortly. But so he's still like in and around it all, but yeah, I just feel like this is traditionally the part where everyone, the part of the year where everyone talks about just, we need to get to Revolution, like it's a bit of a painful wait, or the gap is too big, whatever it may be. So, we're trying to establish a new faction here, which are all kind of established guys and know each other and stuff like that anyway. They've got the chemistry, so it shouldn't be too hard. But I feel like this could possibly be a very testing time for Undisputed Kingdom and them getting completely over with the crowd, compared to if Adam Cole was here fighting fit and ready, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. I think the build is you've raised a good point with the build, but I think once Roderick becomes international champion, which he should, but TK loves Orange Cassidy, so it's always like 50-50 there. But once Roderick becomes champion, I think it's smooth sailing from there for Roderick, at least, because we've seen him with the North American title, and it's like we've seen what they've done with the international title, mainly with Orange Cassidy, but it's like Roderick's more than good enough to have a similar reign to Cassidy, where it's just okay, throw him against the opponent. It's Roderick Strong, like he's got to
let the boy do what he's
it's Roderick
for
Strong.
doing.
So the build to the pay-per-view will be rough, but I don't see this as like a thing where I'm going to look at Undisputed Kingdom sideways. The people where I think the faction hinges on is Wardlow. I think Wardlow's the person where I'm like, because I think everyone else, it's almost a guarantee they will do their job. Adam Cole will do his job. The Kingdom will do their job. It's not even to single him out, but like these guys are proven. We've seen it before. We've seen it in Ring of Honor, seen it in NXT. We've seen it across multiple promotions. These men are very capable of doing their job well. Wardlow's the one person where there's the question mark. So Yeah, being tired of them when they've literally only they became a faction December 30th. Like, like we're not even a month into them being a thing. Like, relax.
Yeah, yeah. Well, people are always gonna have their opinions, but yeah, like I said, that the opinions may be helped if we don't see something interesting over, especially the next 6 weeks, building to Roddy probably taking that title, but it's still early days. We'll see how that goes. Next up, we had a backstage segment again. Hangman Adam Page. Um, he basically saying he wants the world title. It was brought to his attention, obviously, that he hasn't beaten Swerve, and he mentioned basically, well, Swerve's not the champion, and I don't need to beat Swerve to become champion. So again, firmly kind of keeping his name in the conversation, keeping his name in the hat. This was followed by an in-ring segment honoring Jay Briscoe. This was I think a really, really touching and really well done segment. Like, I feel in the past we've seen segments like Cody announcing his daughter's birth or whatever it was, and it's just like that's probably more Cody than AEW and whosoever in the back production. But yeah, it's like what they haven't kind of done sentiment too well, I would say. This I thought was great. Had the family ringside. Mark came out and he was emotional, but he said, that he's basically doing this now in honor of his brother and everything. He told the story of his brother's daughter, his niece, that was in the car, and the doctor said that she would never walk again, and literally just like turned to one side as she walked out the entranceway, sort of thing, which was really nice. So yeah, and then they played a package, I think, following that of Jay Briscoe just doing what he did best in the ring of Honor tag team champion, Ring of Honor champion, footage of his family. Yeah, they done a really good job with this. What did you think?
Yeah, no, it was a heartfelt segment, man. It was a Yeah, man, it was just like it was well, not bittersweet, but like it was just sad to see that obviously we've lost Jay, but it was good to see at least Jay's daughter's safe, she's walking, she's healthy, and yeah, man, it was just man, Jay Briscoe, man. I always think of like it's always important to remember like the good memories you had with him, like in the ring, but I just sometimes it's like I look at Dynamite and I'm like, man, I wish he was here, man. I wish he was here, man, because Jay Briscoe on this stage, man, just him as a promo, like just the charisma that would be oozing off him. But yeah, man, it was a hard watch. I can't lie, but like it was very impactful, man. It was very impactful. It reminded me of like obviously like the Brody Lee stuff. I remember the Brody Lee
that was done well as well.
Yeah, it was like, oh, this is rough, but I'm and big up to Mark Briscoe, man. He's been he's shown unbelievable strength throughout all of this, man. Just constantly been on TV, wrestling. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's funny because you grow up and then like this is all to some extent, like from their backgrounds and stuff like that. So it's this or what else sort of thing. And of course, the company have done very well to keep him in a job. And we've seen this happen in wrestling where something happens and everyone then ties together. It's like all the stupidity goes to one side and everyone ties together to support. So yeah, it was really good. And it's unfortunate. You really can't help but feel now when you see these packages like, what if? Like, what if he was still here? Him and his brother doing stuff had graduated past. Like, even now, like there's an element. I can't lie. There's an element of like annoyance in me that the stuff they did with FTR was like so Ring of Honor heavy.
Yeah,
like less so AEW heavy. Like you could have done. Obviously, the stuff can still be kind of seen on. It's still a platform. You see what I mean? But like, we can't have had these guys even available in the time when Ring of Honor had closed, before AEW had acquired it, and we never put these guys on TV earlier. Like,
because
it's hindsight, I guess.
Yeah, it's hindsight. Also, it's like I remember it was the whole network stuff about they didn't want Jay on TV for the comments that he made in the past, and it's like. And it kind of is sad because like there's the annoyance comes from me. It's like I took him to like pass away for now he's on TV. Now he's it's okay for these men to be on TV in it. But regardless, like, you know, I'm just happy that they had that year that they had at least before Jay passed. I think the Briscoes are always a fixture amongst like people who like watched Ring of Honor, watched hardcore wrestling, but I feel like the matches with FTR like blew them up even more in terms of to people who aren't familiar with them. And at least they got to have like that year in like the spotlight where it was like, oh my god, Briscoes match of the year, FTR, like Briscoes and FTR are going crazy. So at least Jay, if there's one thing to take away, at least Jay got to experience that. And like during that period of time, people were clamoring, we want Jay on TV, we want Briscoe brothers on TV. So
yeah. No, like we say, very kind of great way to honor him. It's crazy. It's been a year already since he passed. But yeah, from one legendary tag team to another. Big up everyone watching live in the chat, commenting. Big up Navy. We have Matthew Watson here that commented before the stream even began, who actually cares about the young cucks. Okay, mate. And big up our guy in Knowledge. He says, evening, lads. Just checking in to say that the Young Bucks are the greatest tag team I've ever seen. And we are about to witness another legendary run. So these guys are sitting down with the remarkable Renee Paquette, as she's known. They're still in their white and black, they're gray and black. The mustache on Matthew Jackson is thicker than ever, like really playing into it at this point. Straight off the bat of the beginning of the interview, Nick stops to correct Renee Paquette. Don't call us Matt and Nick. You know, we're executive vice presidents. Call us by our full names, Nicholas and Matthew Jackson. I sat back in my chair. I was like, all right, let's go. Let's see what this is all about. And they spoke just about, I guess, the state of the company, the state of where the company has gone into. Basically, almost admitting it's like they're very much the EVPs now, and they want to be taken seriously as EVPs. Basically admitting that, okay, we dropped the ball with the company somewhat. You lot have called us out for it, sort of thing. We started signing all these elder statesmen. They discussed, because I wrote this down at the time because I said I have to say this today. They referred to Mr. CM Punk in the sense of calling him, we started to lean on yesterday's self-serving, superficial, cancerous superstars. I think the words cancerous rang true with me, because I think that's what Seth Rollins had been on record called CM Punk a cancer. And then, of course, superstars is what WWE refer to their talent as. So I said, wow, that is CM Punk. They were very fast to kind of protect Sting, though, and say that, Sting isn't one of them. I loved when they said Sting is the model employee. Again, hinting on the EVP status that they have, that they're now looking at the employees. But yeah, they were talking about why Sting is the last of a dying breed. So it's time to get rid of him as well. Very sarky. Like from the way they were speaking, the way they want to be addressed, from the way that Matt Jackson was here crossing his legs, addressing. I even felt like he was putting something like a little bass into his voice, the way he was replying to Renee.
Yeah,
and
he said,
very sharp.
He said, you have a job, you can thank us for that.
He said that, yeah. And what did he also say? Oh, we started this company, you weren't here when we started, and stuff like that. It was absolutely brilliant. I've got so much time for this. And then they abruptly ended the interview because he had an email that he had to answer. Brilliant. What did you think of this?
I adored this. I think heel Young Bucks are the best Bucks. And here's the thing, I know this is intentionally gonna ruffle feathers. This is gonna be like, why are these guys shooting? The Young Bucks have done, probably not to this extent, obviously, because the magnitude of Brawlout. If you look at the entire Young Bucks' career, they've been self-referential. these guys have been absolute trolls, whether it was on the independents mimicking DX and doing the chopping sign, whether it was, hey, you guys do too many super kicks. Cool, super kick party. These man are intentional trolls. But what I love about this is that now you've set up so many different feuds. I'm thinking of what one feud, as soon as they said superstars, there's one tag team that came to mind that not a tag team yet. Edge and Christian.
Edge and Christian.
I thought of that immediately, and I'm like,
Yep.
oh, you could do so many. Heck, House of Black. There's so many teams that fit. It's obviously, yes, they are referring to CM Punk. But what I love is that they're not just doing a work shoot for the sake of being, hey, let's do a work shoot that's going nowhere. Because even if you look at it purely kayfabe wise, yeah, they are EVPs. The company's been under turmoil. Cool, they want to assume a serious role. Fine, that's what they've done. But now it's given people impetus to like boo them properly.
Yeah,
it's like they are going to be heels, because I think it came to a point in time where it was kind of hard to boo the Bucks because we love them so much. But now it's like, nope. Especially now, there's an added hatred to the Bucks because of Brawl Out, and some people still feel they're responsible for that. I just think this is what you do, man. You make lemonade out of lemons, man, and it's gonna cause controversy. It's gonna get Twitter going, but that's what you want. Yeah. That's what you want. This is good press, because at the end of the day, you're still feeding it back into the storyline. And now people are going to be cheering for Sting even more. It's brilliant, man. It's brilliant. It's brilliant heel work, and I can't wait for this, man. I know they're going to be spoofing so many iconic WWE superstar moments. Oh, it's going to be great, man. It's going to be great.
It is. Anthony Avalon in the chat says, yeah, and shoot Hadoukens. They are trying to be funny and they aren't. I don't think they're trying to be funny. Like, obviously, there's an element of like addressing things like you said, but I don't think this is meant to be like a funny thing. They are turning what's happened, what people are discussing about the company, into a real life story. And it's almost like they're going to use their EVP muscle to overcome all of this stuff.
Yeah, I think it's funny in the sense of like, oh my god, this is hilarious, and said that you're really taking this and making it into a storyline. And they're funny because it's like, okay, we're clearly supposed to boo them. And I think it is hilarious. I think it's absolutely hilarious that they.
I agree, but I don't think it's meant to be like. Yeah, I agree with you, but I think maybe he means like it's meant to be like ha funny, like they're trying to make people laugh.
No,
I don't think that's the case. No. But yeah, sorry, go on.
I think they are making people laugh, but it's not a thing of like where they're not Danhausen. Then they're like,
yes,
like it's serious, like, but it's funny because of how it's like one of those things where it's funny because of how seriously they're taking it. That's what makes it funny. But yeah.
And RP says this new gimmick is about to be mad. Love it. Yeah, man. This is them almost returning to their roots of, like you said, trolling, stirring up the internet, riling people up, getting them mad. I hope when I still think Sting's gonna get a really big send off, but I hope they really collect. Yeah, I don't know whether they ruin it or they really put him down. So blood. I always go to blood as my go-to, but literally, I just want them to get booed out of the building before Sting gets that lovely send-off that he deserves. Because that is the catalyst. That is the number one catalyst. They said that he's a model employee, but ultimately he's an old man that needs to leave the company now. So Dave acknowledged how great he is, but his time is up. And like you said, through this, there's the Hardys, which they may go back to the well and do that again. They've got Edge and Christian, and it's got so many tag teams. Hell, I would even say they're with this gimmick, they're about to outshine the tag division again in terms of the champions.
But they could be right back in the tag division based on what Darby and Sting said.
In terms of what?
because remember, Darby and Sting in there. Well, it'll be a later segment. Darby and Sting in their vignette said they want to go for the tag team titles.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So could they be champions before
By the
Revolution?
time.
By the time they get to, so could it be a thing of Darby and Sting, let's say, beat Ricky Starks and Big Bill, and then they go into Revolution as tag team champions, and then the Bucks beat them, retire them, they become tag team champions, and now like, yep, we're champions, we're EVPs, we're round like, oh, you could do so much with this.
So much, honestly.
You could do so much with this.
And Arby says they should abuse this EVP role in this new gimmick. I do think we're going to probably see that in spells.
They're going to abuse it.
Yeah. No, it's brilliant, and I'm looking forward to what comes of this. Back to the Graps, we had the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team titles. The Bullet Club Gold, who came out to a brand new theme, which I think people were saying online was made by Colt and Gunn.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't lie.
I don't like it.
I wanted Switchblade. I was like, where's the shing? Like, I was waiting for Jay White's music to hit. I thought it was because I think the show was sponsored by Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, maybe this is just like a Suicide Squad sponsored match or something like that. Yeah. And that's why they're playing this music. Return Jay White's music, please. I don't really.
I think this is the team's music, but Jay White still keeps his original theme in terms of a singles match.
Hopefully.
I think it's probably just a groups thing because the
Bullet Club music.
Yeah.
They took on Mogul Embassy, obviously from the Ring of Honor tag 6-man tag team champions. As I referred to earlier in the show, when these men come to Dynamite, they can't do anything right. And we saw an okay match between these guys. Khan was left in the ring with Switchblade Jay White, a lot of kind of back and forth towards the finish there. Jay White eventually hit him with a Blade Runner and pinned him. And it was off the back of Anthony Bowens getting involved and helping Bullet Club Gold, who obviously he's been pitching a joint kind of super faction towards. Bullet Club Gold get the win here. They are the new Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions. On the ramp is the Acclaimed, the AEW 6-man tag team champions. Or 6-man trios champions. So I guess both of these factions that are kind of flirting with each other in regards to joining up are now their relative trios champions of two different shows, Ring of Honor and AEW. I don't know, does this help the cause of them linking up and doing something together? Is this maybe AEW trying to find a way to unify those titles? I don't know what I think with this at all. All I know is I think Jay White is too far down the card.
I think this is the best option is to unify. Just unify the titles. And then have it like be a rotating championship. It can be defending on Ring of Honor, defending on here. Because I don't see the point of having two of them. Anyways. Jay White this is just something for Jay White to do, and you know what it is? It's just like, bruv, just Adam Cole come back so we can do Kingdom United, Undisputed Kingdom versus Bullet Club Gold. I'm waiting for that because I think that's where they're headed to, anyways. Like one of the few factions going to feud with them anyway. That's what they started with. This is just filler. But it's an accolade. Do you know what it is? It's an accolade for Colton and Austin because it's like another championship. It's good for them. And I honestly think Juice being injured hurts because if this was Juice instead of like Jay White, no problem with this.
Yeah, that's true.
If it was Juice, it was like, okay, I got no problem with this. But it's because it's Jay, it's like, you should be doing something else. Don't know what, but you should be doing something else.
Yeah, there's no way you sign Jay White to come make him a trios champion within his first year on the job. Like, injury and this, that, and the other, and everything has kind of shagged him, even from down to his AEW World Title program at the back end of last year. Injury obviously had a part to play in the wider story that was being told. So yeah, I don't even know, like with this whole Acclaimed stuff, because like you said, they're definitely probably heading towards Undisputed Kingdom versus Bullet Club Gold and the Acclaimed probably. So they are gonna join up at one point. It's just how long are we gonna milk it before we get there? I think they're trying to
6
set up.
weeks. 6
I think it's
weeks.
that because what are they looking at, like a anarchy in the arena, or they must be looking at like maybe even a blood and guts.
That's not the
Or,
feud for that. That's
yeah,
not the feud for that.
what else is there?
That's not the feud for that. Oh, I mean, you might be right, but I'm looking at. I've said you can't waste the anarchy in there. And also, hot take. I think they might scrap on. I think you can scrap anarchy in the arena. I don't think you need to do it every year. I think blood and guts you should do every year, but anarchy you can scrap it because I don't see the necessity for it every year. Like
I think I agree,
yeah.
but maybe I both. I don't think. I think again, you don't want to make it like trademark WWE Hell in a Cell, and all of a sudden we're putting matches in a Hell in a Cell. Like, let the
Yeah,
feud deserve the blood
dictate
and
that. Yeah.
guts. Yeah. So
Mm,
yeah, I think both of them don't need to be permanent fixtures in the calendar. It's only if we're in, the state of gang wars or whatever the case is, where we can use it, or we need to use it.
yeah.
But yeah, we have new Ring of Honor 6-man champions. This is where we then got Adam Cole. Adam Cole backstage, and he's hyping up Wardlow, and he's saying that Wardlow is basically untapped potential. He hasn't got his fair chance. That Wardlow needs to win the world title and bring it back to Undisputed Kingdom. That was his words. Not that Wardlow needs to become the champion and hold the belt himself. Is that he needs to bring the title back to the Undisputed Kingdom. And Wardlow is there kind of smirking as well, not giving away too much. Like you said, Wardlow is the anomaly in this group, just by fact that, he probably doesn't have a strong relationship as these other men have with each other. We all assume that he's the one that's going to get turned on or kicked out of the group, whatever the case may be. And again, from the beginning, we've heard, from when they joined, he needs to win the world title. We heard it last week at Daily's Place. We've heard it again here. What is the action we are taking? How is he getting to the world title? Because, Samoa Joe is looking down the barrel of a hook, Swerve, Hangman. Shouldn't Wardlow be hanging around that picture with, like, be seen in those spaces if he's really challenging? Like, why are we... Yeah, just how are we going to get him from backstage segments and in the back of Adam Cole promos to the world title? What's the plan?
I don't know, and I don't want it. I'm so like I don't even want it. I don't even see anything feasible because we're gonna get to Samoa Joe. But it's like cool. We're listing names. Okay, Hook, fair. Hook, Wardlow's probably got more accolades than Hook. Maybe. Cool. That's fine. But we're naming Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page, and you want to put Wardlow in the mix and the I don't see it with Wardlow. I really don't. And AEW, there's only one title. So, like, you've won everything else. You've won TNT, so you can't even backslide and do that. I don't know how they get him there. I don't even know how, even, let's say, even to justify Samoa Joe versus Wardlow again, we saw that how many times for the TNT Championship. That's not a feud I'm waking up for. If I'm being honest, just them two, I'm not invested. Maybe if you position like a Wardlow and a Swerve or Wardlow and a Hangman, if them two win the title, maybe. But the problem is, I don't see him being a credible contender, in my personal opinion. I see him honestly being like a Dynamite main event in terms of a championship match. I don't think you could like convince me, hey, Wardlow versus one of the three champions here as a pay-per-view main event, and the people be satisfied. That's just the way it is at the moment. And I don't feasibly see a way they can build it, especially now, him being put right next to Adam Cole. I think that's because now it's like, oh no, we're waiting for the real contender. We're waiting
Yeah.
for him. Like, you're sat next to the real contender, and the storyline is, yeah, hold the title till the real contender comes back. So I don't know. And AEW don't do like they won't do a thing where Wardlow wins a championship one night and then loses it the next night. They don't really tell that, and I don't think it would serve anything if they do that, anyways. So I don't know. I think they've kind of, I won't say they've shot themselves in the foot, but they've created an issue in terms of you set the expectation of Wardlow doing something. Now it's to the point where if he doesn't do it, we're heading into Braun Strowman territory. We're heading into Braun Strowman territory where it's just like, you're there, but you're never there. You're never gonna be that guy. Like we just leave. But then if he wins it, it's like, imagine a world where Wardlow wins the title before Swerve. It just don't.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
It doesn't
not the
make
world
sense.
title anyway.
It don't make sense. So I don't know what you do with Wardlow. And I like Wardlow. I think he's a talent, but it's just no. I don't foresee it. I just can't envision a scenario where it makes sense for me, which is a shame.
I mean, I don't think there's anything to this at all. I think it's just part of the story they're telling with the Undisputed Kingdom. The issue is because you keep saying that I'm coming after the world title. Like if they just left Wardlow there as the imposing figure, or just said it in the first promo and let him do the little wink and stuff that he did, and never have repeated it since last week or this week, I feel like it could have just faded away in it. Like that could be the aspirations we have for Wardlow, but yeah, we're just going to let that be a passing statement almost. The fact you keep saying it on weekly TV, that's why I'm asking the question. Like, well, we know where the world champion is because the 3 other people can find him. So what is Wardlow doing if he wants the world title? Like, how is he going to go about getting it? I think AEW have almost... like I said, I'm saying this, but I don't believe it anyway. But they've almost jumped the gun. They had done some good rehabilitation work on Wardlow and getting us to half care about him again. They've put him inside a hot faction, cool. But even TNT, because there's literally enough belts for him to be TNT champion again. I'm not saying I wanted that, but I'm just saying he didn't have to go, he's got to be the world champion. But like I had booked from the beginning, like I had fantasy booked, like, he's going to get a chance, maybe not at Joe, maybe at whoever the champion is going to be after Joe. He will get a chance, a title match, and I think he loses, and I think he's kicked out the group from there. That's what I've honestly thought is going to happen from day one. Maybe kicked out by Kyle O'Reilly, or maybe they will rush him or kick him out, and then Kyle O'Reilly replaces him, one or the other. And that's what I've always thought is going to happen. I still think that's going to happen. So, yeah, it's just a bit of kind of, I guess, a gap in logic. Like I say, if you want the world title shot, then we know where to find the world champion. So why aren't you doing it?
You could do this, but again, this is dependent on Adam Cole. Depending on when Adam Cole comes back, you could do a scenario. You could tell almost like you could tell a story where, let's say, Adam Cole is back, and now we're in a scenario where they do like a number 1 contendership match, but or a number 1 contendership tournament or something where Adam Cole falls short, but then Wardlow wins, and Wardlow gets the opportunity, and then he may have like, I don't know, someone like a Swerve dead to rights, and then they cheat him out of the win. So you could do something like that where it's like, oh, I would have been champion if it wasn't for you, man. And then, but then the problem is that has to divert into a completely different storyline with like Wardlow versus Undisputed Kingdom when you know MJF is pending. So yeah, that's the problem. It's like, yeah.
And this is the thing, the way it ended with MJF, you could have said, oh, then MJF returns and he links up with Wardlow again as his heavy. But the way things ended between them, I don't think there's space for that either. So it's like Wardlow just, falls into obscurity from there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, man. Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's interesting. We'll see. We'll see if he comes around or ever finds and bumps into Samoa Joe backstage and actually lays claim to wanting to be world champion. Because like I say, Samoa Joe's not hard to find. The next match we had on the show was Deonna Purrazzo making her Dynamite debut, I believe, up against Anna Jay, who recently she won on last week's Dynamite. She had a TBS title match on Collision, I think, on the weekend, was unsuccessful against what's her face now? I've forgotten her name. TBS champion.
Oh, Julia Hart.
Julia Hart, that's it. So yeah, Anna Jay being given some consistent TV time somewhat. Had the match with Deonna Purrazzo, had Tony Storm on commentary. He was very, very funny throughout this. But you know, I guess there wasn't much of a match here. There was a commercial somewhere within the match, and it was more or less just a showcase for Deonna Purrazzo in front of Tony Storm, who she's obviously laying out a challenge to. She got the win with like a double armbar kind of move, which was kind of cool. Anna Jay giving up or tapping out. After this, there was a war of words between Deonna Purrazzo and Tony Storm. Purrazzo stood her ground. Tony Storm, again, she was making very funny comments referring to virtuoso as a disease that she used to have or something like that she'd caught in the past. Purrazzo made reference to knowing Tony Storm and I know the real you and this, that, and the other. Tony Storm said, like, don't watch me, basically, and threatened to sock her in her box. Which was mad. I don't know if Renee was genuinely laughing, her and Deonna Purrazzo at that line. Deonna Purrazzo also referred to her as the best technical wrestler in the women's division, which I thought was going to bring out Serena Deeb, but didn't. And yeah, Tony Storm, was it Mariah May? One of them was throwing the shoes at Deonna Purrazzo, made their way around ringside area. So yeah, the first interaction, I guess, Deonna Purrazzo and Tony Storm, I think is fairly obvious. We're probably heading towards these two facing off at Revolution with maybe a Deonna Purrazzo and Mariah May match somewhere in between. Yeah, what did you think of this match and segment?
I thought the match was fine. Like I said, it was kind of the commercial break kind of that took me out of the match. But I can't lie, Tony Storm segment was hilarious. Oh my god, she's hilarious. Like just even her
so well, like
just even her like sitting on like Luther's like shoulders and then cutting the promo through there, and I was man. I love Tony Storm. I love the gimmick. He makes hilarious. Haverstiana, obviously, good match to set up for the pay-per-view. Obviously, like with Deonna Purrazzo being in the division, and there's a lot of talk about, you know, can the division be fixed, and that remains to be seen in it. Like that remains to be seen. I'm interested in this. Again, they're building a lot of things early, which is it's weird because I think my main criticism of last year was like we were getting 1 week builds, and now it's like this, like towards the end of the year we're getting 4-6 week builds, and I'm like, can we just do like a good a good month for a good
can we meet in the middle?
You meet in the middle because it's like it's a lot, but at least with this one you've got other elements. You've got Mariah May in the picture, which I'm sure we're gonna like have a Deonna Purrazzo on Mariah May match. Yeah, I'm very interested. Obviously, like every week, you know, I think it's gonna be a ticking time bomb every week where Mercedes this, Mercedes that, Mercedes this. I think we don't get anything until Revolution at this point.
Yeah, likewise.
I don't think it happens on TV. If it does happen, I mean, we'll know by next week whether she's in WWE or not. You know what I'm saying? If nothing happens next week at the Rumble, then I think we're pretty locked in for like AEW. Who now they've got Deonna Purrazzo, they've got Tony Storm. I wonder who like the prominent fixtures of the division will be. Obviously, you think Tony Storm's a champ. Like, where do they put Deonna Purrazzo is my question. Because we say, oh, she should be in the main event picture, but they could easily like put her in the TBS picture.
Yeah.
Based on just what they've done with previous booking before. I doubt they will do that. But, you know, anything's possible. And my thing is, I would say it's an issue, but my one thing that I'm hesitant about is when you insert someone straight into the main event scene, when they lose, what do you do afterwards? It's like, if you're not gonna switch the title, which I don't think you should, because Tony Storm's doing great work,
Correct.
what do you do afterwards?
Yeah.
That's the only like thing where I'm like, cool, you've established Deonna Purrazzo and put her in the main event scene. That's the right thing to do. But then she's ultimately going to lose the title, lose the match. So who do you have in place? And then this is the kind of thing about setting up a division. You haven't right now. It's only Tony Storm in that upper echelon. I think in the TBS division they've done a good job of like establishing that scene. There's a TBS scene, but with the women, it's like Tony Storm and whoever's the challenger for that week or pay-per-view.
Even Riho's disappeared from TV now.
Yeah. So there's no one around, and it's like I think Britt's injured, but still, there's no one around Tony's level. It's like Tony and then challengers. There's no So I with Deonna, like my one thing is like, okay, off post Revolution, what do we do? And then that's maybe because I heard the rumors of if Mercedes was to join, there would be the Mercedes storyline. And to the rumors were like Mercedes would get her own dedicated, just like storyline. The Mercedes storyline and then the B plot, because that's kind of what happened with Britt.
But that's what we thought would happen with Britt. I would argue that it didn't really. So when Britt, who beat Britt for the title? Thunder Rosa, right?
Yeah.
And Thunder Rosa didn't last long because she then got injured.
Yeah.
And then Tony Storm was in the scene from there. And then Britt, and then Jamie Hayter won it, sorry. Yeah. And then obviously Britt was attached to Jamie Hayter. So Britt was by default in and around the title.
Yeah. I was referencing before she won the title. So before Britt won the title, I remember like the random feuds with like Big Swole and all of these girls that were just away from the title picture. Yeah, post Britt winning the title, they kind of forgot about that. But I remember in the build up to Britt winning the title, it was kind of like she was having her own feuds here and there.
Yeah.
And then she won the title.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely one of them ones at this point with the women's division, seeing is believing.
Yeah.
Like even the temptation to just not make Mercedes. What's after they have Revolution, what's next? Double or Nothing?
Yeah, Double or Nothing.
She probably becomes champion then. Like she probably becomes champion. So it's like now
Tony's been champion for a while by then.
Yeah, and if anything, it's the Tony Storm character that can carry without a championship.
Yeah.
So yeah, with the women's division, with talent coming in, seeing is believing. Like you said with Deonna Purrazzo, she's not gonna win at Revolution. Neither do I think she's gonna win or deserves to win, unless something crazy happens over the next 6 weeks. Serena Deeb is there. She's made the comment of best technical women's wrestler. So,
that's
that could be a little program, that they do post Revolution between Serena Deeb and Deonna Purrazzo. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of it, isn't it? There isn't really much else.
Athena, we keep saying this. She's the answer. Athena is the rise her up, man. Rise her up. Fine, I don't know. When's the next Ring of Honor big pay-per-view? Have her lose. It's time.
Supercard of Honor, which will be like WrestleMania weekend times.
April. Yeah, we got a long way to go.
I think with Athena, and why my face dropped is because I'm half scared if she is put on this show, the allowance to basically run the show, do Athena as she has been doing, will reduce. And we all of a sudden won't be talking about Athena because Dynamite is clearly a tighter ship in terms of how it's run than anything else in that company. So I fear more than anything that will bring her up and she'll land exactly back to where she was when she was
here. But I also see it as a thing where, let's say they, for some inexplicable reason, they don't push Mercedes to the title. The way Tony Storm's running that division, it's her division. Like, she gets the most segments. I could easily see, because Athena's essentially doing the same thing as Tony. Different gimmicks, obviously, but in terms of like, okay, the show's all about me. I could easily see Athena slotting in and being like, okay, but this is the Athena show now.
The show can't be about both of them.
Yeah, no, that's true. Tony would have to lose the title. Tony would have to lose the title. Yeah.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, for everything you're saying, we know at this point she would be a fantastic addition to this women's division. Help flesh out that main event scene of the women's division. It's well deserved on top of anything else. You know, anyone that doubted her at one point, we all doubted that she still had the minerals. Asked about her character and everything like that. She's shut everyone up and she's putting on a terrific show over the last year. I'm just really thinking, well, it's easy for these guys to come in and, you know, be the shiny new toys and get at least 6 months in the sun. Athena's been there already. She's kind of moved down to Ring of Honor. She's worked her way. You know, we all love her. What's Tony's perception of her? Will he give her that big opportunity back on the main show on Dynamites and stuff? So, yeah, it's just more of a fear of her falling into the shuffle of things as opposed to being treated as a main eventer.
I've just had an idea. I think if Athena comes back, I could easily see them putting her in the TBS picture.
See? Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, you're bang on.
I could easily see that TBS champion Athena goes on that's where she was before. TBS picture with Jade.
Losing to Jade.
Yeah. Like they might do like longest reigning TBS champion of all time. The eclipses Jade's record, which will be, she's above that now, isn't it?
Exactly.
She can go back to it. Like, I don't mind her going like back to it, like at some point in time. But like, you've graduated, isn't it?
Yeah, this is exactly it. Yeah, it's a difficult one. Like we've been saying, the talent, all the pieces are there. It's just how do we make this division be a well-oiled machine as well as the men's division? That's still to be told. We had another match, a tag team match, Top Flight versus Private Party, and my God, this was the most we're back. AEW is back kind of match that we've had like in the last 3 weeks of us saying that the show is back. Like, these are obviously two, like the whole show, you know, AEW was meant to be kind of built off the success of tag teams and tag team wrestling really getting a push in the mainstream, which it doesn't usually get. You know, Private Party are OGs, day ones. You know, they've been there. Obviously, they've had their injuries, especially Mark Quinn, like never fit, never ready to go. They're coming back. This is the first time they said that Private Party have tagged in a match in 13 months, which is crazy. Top Flight have had their injuries with Dante being off, then Darius, Dante. Like it's been horrible for both of these guys. But yeah, these young men went at it. They had a really good match. There was respect for each other's offense in regards to the high flying style and all of that kind of stuff. And for the finish, we saw Mark Quinn. He rolled up Darius, and just around the 2 count, he grabs the middle rope for leverage to pin Darius Martin. These guys kind of after the match like, oh, what did you do that for? This, that, and the other. You cheated. Private Party played dumb. Private Party have always had, I remember they've done something like this before, like early doors. They've always had these kind of heel tendencies, but they don't come across as heels. They just, I guess, do what they need to do to get the win. But on top of everything, I think this was just super refreshing to just see almost like it feels like new blood within the division, returning guys, everyone kind of firing, ready to go. And like I said, this is what helps to bring that feeling back of AEW. What did you think of this?
I'm gonna be a little nitpicky, but seeing Mark Quinn back was great. Seeing Private Party back was great, but I could tell the ring rust was there. The ring rust was there. There was a few spots where he looked slower in the ring. And there was a few spots where the sequences weren't sequencing on his end. Because I felt like Isaiah Cassidy had a lot more chemistry with like Darius and Dante. But when Mark
Yeah.
Quinn got involved, even the finish was a bit sloppy.
Yeah.
So there were moments in the match where I was like, I don't think you're quite 100% yet. But there was the makings of a good match in there. And I feel like these two, like once Mark is like back to his usual self, hopefully these two teams can cook, because there were some sequences where I was like, yeah. And just like I said, just seeing these two homegrown teams, like this is
Mm-hmm.
what AEW's about. And just seeing them come out and like I'm like, this is a match that I can only get on Dynamite. And I want to see these two teams grow. I want to see these two teams do big things. And like now we're here. What the hell was that Matt Hardy private party pipe pairing? What the hell was that? That did nothing. Like that stalled them for so long. Like, Grant, I know Mark was injured, but even the original pairing itself, because it was Mark and Isaiah and Matt Hardy. What knowledge did Matt Hardy impart onto these man? Like what?
I mean, we can't be too harsh. It might be something we still see them develop and put into action. After all, he's been spending a lot of time with them, but where's been the action? There's been no action because he's been injured, innit? So we could start seeing some new things around chemistry. We could start seeing some things around their own development of their psychology within the ring. It's only going to take an interview for them to come out and then, heap praise on Matt Hardy and say, "Oh, my whole career is because of Matt Hardy," and then that's the justification, in it. But it's one of them ones that I guess with time we'll see. I agree with like you were saying about the ring rust there. I actually have always thought of the two, Mark Quinn's the better wrestler. Like I think I know Isaiah Cassidy's the more out there and noisy one. I think Mark Quinn is like the breakout guy, but I don't think Isaiah Cassidy is like Janae. He'll be good on his own as well.
Yeah, I think Mark Quinn. I remember he used to have like the shooting star. He had like the bigger spots, which is why in this match when I was like, wait, since when is Isaiah better than Mark? Because Isaiah's better than Mark in this match.
Felt it.
I was like, when is this the case? That's why I noticed it. I was like, Isaiah's really like the one holding. And obviously I noticed he came out in a t-shirt, and when the wrestlers come out in a t-shirt, it's a sign that they're not quite there yet.
They're not all there yet. Cool. So that was that match. Like we're saying, good to see these guys back. We had a video package of Sting and Darby. So yeah, you were referring to this earlier. I actually walked out the room and forgot to pause. So I didn't see this. What happened in this video package?
So it was just basically Sting and Darby running down through their whole career in AEW. Sting refers to Darby as, "Oh, you're the greatest tag team partner I've ever had." And they basically said, like, at the end of this, we are going to become tag team champions. And they showed, Ricky Starks and Big Bill. So they've issued, they've set their sights on the AEW Tag Team Championship. Which is interesting. Because obviously now we've only got a month. We've got a lot. We've got 6 weeks until Revolution.
Yeah.
What do you do? I've seen some people say maybe they win the titles at Revolution and just like retire as champions, but I don't get that.
So I think what you said initially probably sounds on the cards then. If that's the case, they probably beat them as tag team champions somewhere along the line, maybe in the next 3 weeks, and then we use the other 3 weeks to build towards Young Bucks versus Sting and Darby for the tag team championships at Revolution, and maybe the Young Bucks beat them for it.
Yeah, because I think you establish stakes that way, because I don't see a thing where I think Sting and Darby winning the tag team titles for like accolades purposes, it's like, fine, you can do it. But then I think it also, if you're gonna lean into the Bucks versus Sting and Darby, it just adds on top of like the heat the Bucks are gonna get. Because if the Bucks win at Revolution, the EVPs put themselves to the top. This is that. It's the heat online.
Give me the heat.
The heat online is just undeniable. And I feel like it's an opportunity too good to pass up on. and it gets the titles away from Bill and Starks, which have been a solid team. But let's be real, it's been a far cry from what we expect from the tag team division. And
Yeah,
it's like we've said, if we're getting Isaiah Cassidy back in the fold, Private Party back in the fold, getting the top flights back in the fold, who better than the guys that put them on? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Literally. So yeah, and I think that kind of realigns the division again.
yeah.
So yeah. I think
I'm not against it. I'm not against it, and I think it's more than justified. I think they said Darby and Sting have got like a 26-0 record as a tag team.
I think they're
So
undefeated as a tag team.
yeah, so they should have had a tag team title
Yeah,
match already. Like,
yeah.
so yeah, it's more than justified. So yeah, we'll see if they go down that route. Cool. So we are now at the main event. Big up everyone that's watching live. Again, hit the like button if you haven't. Subscribe to the channel. And let's talk about this main event, man. This felt big. Like this, I didn't ever think, that I would be so like, I won't lie, there's no part of me, not one fiber of my being thought Hook was winning today.
No.
But they presented it in a very kind of big match way. Obviously Hook came down, everyone loves his theme, and him and his nonchalant ways came into the ring. He does his little pose in the corner. Samoa Joe's music hit. People are cheering on Joe. Hook didn't move. Hook didn't turn around. He didn't care who he was about to fight. Joe came in. Joe was like seething when they announced his name. He was like seething, almost like whether it's the I can't wait to get my hands on you or the disrespect because you're not kind of acknowledging me in the ring with you. Hook didn't care at all. Bell goes and that's it. This was a sprint of just absolute chaos. And what I liked, like, this wasn't like, it wasn't competitive in the sense of going back and forth, but like Hook got what he needed to in flurries, basically, before then the beatdown kind of continued of Samoa Joe getting the best of him and stuff. When they done the spots on the outside, I think there was a Uranagi on the table.
Announce table, yeah.
On the announce table. I sat back in my chair and I said, right, there's no way now that Taz isn't going to sell that this is his kid getting beaten up.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens. And I didn't know like how I wanted it to go. Like, I would say, I guess the WWE fan in me of how I've seen it, you would get something like the announcer Taz throwing off his headgear, running down to like Hook's side and kind of trying to protect him, or try to tell Joe, whatever, and a bit more dramatics of Hook saying, "Don't worry, I'll handle my job." The AEW way of doing it, which I thought was absolutely fine. They acknowledged that, Taz, this might be hard for you to watch. Taz took off his headset and it was just a silence sort of thing. Like, at no point does Taz refer to Hook as my son. He's Hook. Like, and I think I like that, almost kind of keeping him, up there, because by the time you start calling someone son, it might water down how we perceive the person, if you see what I mean. Yeah, so I really think that involvement, or I guess a lack of involvement, if you like, was really cool. Match continues. We get to the point that has got some areas of the internet riled up. Hook is in the muscle buster, gets hit with this muscle buster, which is, somewhat one of the most revered moves that we have nowadays. Muscle buster been banned in certain promotions, and Hook kicked out at 1. And the crowd went ballistic. Everyone's like, what the hell? He could then continued. I think there was like a chain of lariats that he got in. He had the T-bone suplex, took the roof off the place. Like, everyone went mad again. And it was when he went to hit the red rum, or lock in the red rum, should I say, Joe countered it, got the coquina clutch, and put him out of his misery. The referee did the 1, 2, 3 with the arm. I feel they're a bit inconsistent with that, because in recent times it's literally just one.
It's been
don't
out,
respond, done. Yeah, so it's like they gave Hook a chance or whatever, but yeah, just a small little thing. So Samoa Joe retained. Like I said, it was it was less than 10 minutes. I think about 9 minutes that match.
Yeah,
Absolute sprint, chaos. Hook got what he needed to look like a viable competitor and shook Samoa Joe somewhat. And then as this section was kind of closing off, Joe left with the title. The crowd are saying, Joe. You see Hook goading him into another fight. Like, oh, is that all you got? Is that all you got? Bro, even me, I was like, Joe, I beg you get in there and shut up that kid. Like, what the hell? Who does he think he is? What's he talking about? Is that what you got? Joe went back in there, muscle buster. He left the ring again. And yeah, as I think he was goading him in again, Joe was gonna go back and Hangman came to the save. We'll get to the rest of this segment in a second. What did you think of this match?
First off, before we get to the match, I feel like even though the build was only been 2 weeks, but my word, man. Even when Dynamite started, it started with the vignette of like Hook.
Yeah.
It started. I said, I'm gassed, and just the presentation, Hook getting the bat signal, and then just the things you touched on. I just already this had like a big match feel. And the match, what I loved about the match is that Samoa Joe looked like an absolute destroyer. Like he looked like, yeah, no, I'm champ. I'm really the champion. Like, and Hook, if you look in the grand scheme of things, Hook didn't do much. But those little moments that, that T-bone suplex, that muscle buster moment, it's like, yeah, you're not beating Joe, but you've got heart. It's one of the most classic stories we've seen. We've seen it time and time in wrestling, whether it's Taker, Jeff Hardy, whether it's so many times where it's like, cool. You might not win like the fight, but you've won the respect of the audience and the crowd. And it's safe. This is Hook's best match in AEW, clearly, by far.
Yeah,
but I just I watched this match and I was like, the feeling, real men. Like this, I keep saying on podcast, real men. This is what I want to see. This is the type of main event I want to see. Like, and this is the thing when we talk about the feeling. It's like this, even though we all knew there's no way on God's green earth that Hook is winning, but for some reason, we all watched Dynamite. And we're like, I can't wait for this match. Or I'm gassed for this match. And the match delivered. And honestly, just like everything, I wouldn't change a thing about that match. And then obviously the spot at Kick Out 1, we saw how the audience reacted. And I think the whole story of the match is kind of Hook being defiant throughout. The beginning of the match, the disrespect to Joe, in the middle of the match and after the match, Hook is still there. Hook is defiant. Hook doesn't back down from no one, even though he can't win. So, boy, man, I can't. I'm gonna watch this match again. Like, it's 9 minutes, so I can do it. I got time for it. But when I watch this match, I literally watched this match in early morning. I watched it on the train to work like this, just fist pumping. Just yeah, man. I was incredible, man. Incredible. And Samoa Joe as champion. It feels so right. It feels so right. I was calling this guy. God.
Yeah, bro. I watched this and I thought, wow. So we can book Joe like a champion because, I've seen, apart from maybe TNA, which a lot of people have told me he wasn't a good, like TNA made him a rubbish world champion.
Yeah, world champion is rubbish. Yeah.
Ring of Honor, he was decent. NXT again was decent. Like, so it's like these big companies that he's had a chance at. It's like they haven't really got it right, but this was, a grand opening to his title defenses, and this is what we said. It's almost like the only thing I keep going back to comparing it is Miro when Miro was TNT champion. If you have these disaster car crash kind of matches fairly fluently, even for the next 6 weeks, where you can do them back to back. Of course, people want story and build and all of that kind of stuff. But if the plan is to take the title off him by Revolution, then you could give him like at least another 2 defenses in that time, make him look crazy going in to Revolution, and then whatever happens. Navy here in the chat says this match had Undertaker versus Jeff Hardy vibes. It did. It really did. So that's someone fighting from underneath to a complete monster. Glody said Hook kicking out at 1 was crazy. Navy said, make yourself famous, kid. Yeah, it almost feels like they need to do something with Hook now.
Yeah, you have to now. He's hot again. He's hot again. Do you know what it is? But I've been screaming this year. Put Hook in actual matches.
Yeah.
Stop putting him in these dumb squashes. Put him in actual matches. But now the problem, I wouldn't say it's a problem, but now it's like, who?
Yeah.
Who?
You need to do something with him, but what? Like
what? Like who? Like who's there? Like, I mean, no, we have talent, but in terms of, because I don't want them competing for the. I think my whole thing is I don't like the FCW Championship. I just removed that from him completely. I think he should have been retired. I think that's a crutch. Remove that from him completely, but just have him feud. And even credit to Hook, the vignettes he's been doing online on social media, they like of just him, he's eating, talking in front of the camera. It's very simple, but it adds. It added to the thing. So I would love to see. Obviously, he's preoccupied, but a Hook like a versus like a Ricky Starks or somebody, where just or just someone of that ilk, of that upper mid card ilk. Just have Hook feud with them, and the feud, and we even saw it last year. It worked with Jack Perry. It worked.
Jack Perry.
Yeah, we are so far removed from miscellaneous squash matches. Like now, it's like he's a wrestler. He can wrestle. Make him wrestle. Like it's no longer a thing of he's still probably still got stuff to work on potential wise, but this match showed that he's here. He can do his job. Because this isn't this match is completely different to anything he's done before, where he's selling 90% of the time now. Before it was like Hook squashes someone, he gets in his offense, no sells everything. This match was no, I'm showing how well-rounded I am as a wrestler because I'm selling, I'm telling a story in the match.
Yeah, even when you said about the FTW title and it being the crutch, like they can easily do something now at this point where, you know, maybe we don't see him next week because he's recovering. The week after, we get a vignette of him maybe just returning the FCW title to his dad's mantle or something like that, like let it rest sort of thing. And then it's like, oh, next week Hook is back on Dynamite or whatever. Give him a nice little showcase match, and just keep him warmed up the correct way, like we're saying, away from that pointless squash matches or whatever. But like I say, that wasn't all. So Hangman made the save, protecting Hook, and gave Hook his props and stuff for, you know, putting on that showing against Joe. As Joe walked up the entrance when he turns around, I guess, get his flowers from the crowd, he sees Hangman there, rabid looking Hangman that wants a piece of him. He's obviously seen what Hook has just put him through in that match, and he spots Swerve Strickland as well in the crowd watching him. And Samoa Joe has this look on his face like, I'm a champion, and now, as they say, you know, everyone's after you, sort of thing. It's almost like he found himself in the lion's den now, where he's the piece of meat and everyone is coming after him, sort of thing. And he had a real look of like, well, like I say, Hook is gave me a good match. Hangman's there, Hangman's crazy, and Swerve is looking on, and he beat the guy that looks crazy in Hangman. So it's just like, there's nowhere to run, sort of thing. He's backed into a corner. Thank you. Like, so yeah, I'm sure, like we said, if we're gonna get this title change at Revolution, the title defenses along the way may not be amongst any one of these guys along the way, but yeah, this is, I guess, how to do a short title run, like very, very well.
And I loved it because, again, I feel the subtlety, like you said, like all Samoa Joe had to do is give you a look, and we saw, and just seeing like the champion being backed into a corner. This is what a title picture looks like. I've always said this, the title is the most important thing in the world. Everybody should want a piece. Joe just finished a match with Hook. I can't rest. Why? I got 2 guys gunning for my position, and I'm nervous about it. I'm not safe. Nobody is safe. It's lonely at the top. This is what a world championship picture should look like. And yes, it's only cool. Could the feud deteriorate? Sure. Well, fair enough. But I can only go off what I'm seeing right now. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. This is what I want to see. And if Joe has a short but impactful reign, I'm happy, because this is what Joe should have been doing for the last decade. For the last decade,
He's been undersold, man. He's been massively undersold.
Doing. Just have him there. Doesn't need to be your longest reigning world champion. Doesn't need to, main event the WrestleManias of the world. That's not what we're here for. But that's not what Joe May is here for in this stage of his career. But someone who can be a respectable champion. I go back to his WWE, because that's where he came from. I look at the match with Brock Lesnar, the multiple matches with AJ Styles. Samoa Joe was always the guy in WWE. He could talk, and we even said this in AEW before he won the title. He can talk a good game, never backs it up. Talks a great game, never backs it up. But now we're seeing what happens when you give him the position to back. Listen, I'm so happy, man. I'm so happy. To the point where obviously I want Swerve to win, because before it was like, okay, Joe's gonna now. Yeah, I'm not viewing Joe as a transitional champion. He's a champion.
Yeah.
It's not interim. It's not transitional. He is champion. Maybe a short champion, but he is champion. That's it.
I can't lie. If like especially the way they booked this match, like it may get repetitive. I may get bored. I'm just speaking in the moment, innit? But if they continue to kind of give him these kind of sprints of just absolute chaos, showing his dominance and stuff against people they can build and at least make us put on a good show like Hook did, potentially. I don't need Swerve to win the title at Revolution. If it continues to be interesting and they push it back, even if it's a bit, push it back to Double or Nothing. I can wait. Because I've waited for this. I've waited for Samoa Joe to be at the very, very top of a real company. And I now want to see the fruits of the labor of what I've waited.
Like, don't get me wrong, like, even that's why I'm even at Revolution. Like, if Swerve wins, I'm fine with it. I'm not complaining. But if Samoa Joe comes out of that match, and obviously the trajectory's on the up as it is now, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. So long as Swerve doesn't maybe take the pin or lose too much momentum, I'm not complaining, because I'm looking at Samoa Joe and I'm like, I'm not ready for this to end. I want to see more. I want to see more. I want to see you face. There's other guys on the roster you can face off against. I want to see it more. Yeah. And bro. And we've gotten like a glimpse of like, and the thing I love about Joe is that he's an amazing promo as well. So there's it's complete. He can do it. Nah, but I'm gonna get angry at TNA. I'm gonna get angry at all of these companies for denying me what I've been deserving for a decade.
Literally. The ish that man's gonna come out and talk next week. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Samoa Joe. And I just put away my man, and it's gonna be great. And you're still gonna have Hangman in the wings, Swerve in the wings, watching him. Like, it's crazy.
This is what you call a title pit. And then we've got William Ospreay on the way.
En route.
I can't lie to you. Swerve. No, Swerve needs to win the title this year. But we'll see what he does next year. But I can't lie. Maybe Revolution's a bit early. Just hold till Double or Nothing. Let me just see. Let it play out. Let it play out.
Yeah.
Let
Let
it
it
play
play
out.
out. Yeah, man. This was very, very good. And, like we're saying, we're only 3 weeks into the new year. We've got a new champion. It feels new. It feels fresh. The competitors around the title, although, some may have been there, like Hangman. It's almost like a different persona with Hangman. It just feels really, really
The
good. And
mustache is added to it. That's the
yeah,
mustache looks different.
yeah. He looks like Magnum TA. I can't unsee it. Like he just, but like he's become. He's still cutting promos, but it's almost like he's short and sharp with it. Like I
Yeah,
don't need to type before his Hangman and his long, very good drawn out promos talking about his life and it's always I'm a victim and everything I've been through, blah blah blah. Now it's just like, where's the bread? Where's the championship? Let me get there. I don't care. Like for him to say like I don't care if Swerve has been pinning me. I don't need to, beat Swerve to become world champion. He literally just dismissed Swerve completely. Like I'm focused on the title. Swerve has obviously said on the show as well, I'm focused on the title. And like you said, this is how the biggest prize should be treated. So, they're doing some absolutely great stuff. And I guess the negative, the con, if there is that it's 6 weeks to the pay-per-view. Like we've got still a very long way to go. But if they've started the year on this trajectory that they're on, then we're in for a spectacular year. Honestly, we are with AEW.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, that brings to an end our show. Obviously, you can see we're very hype about Dynamite this past week, and looking forward to what it brings. Obviously, Rampage, Collision, all on the weekend, and that. Please, if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Make sure you're following us. If you want to talk more wrestling with us, become a channel member. Come into the Discord where you can talk about Dynamite live as it's happening if you're watching live as well, or the aftermath and stuff as well. NK, any last bits before we sign off today?
Yeah, make sure you check out WRESTHINGS. We got a bunch of different content coming out. We got some stuff cooking, man. We've been cooking in the lab. We got some stuff for you. You know what I'm saying? But in regards to AEW, I can't like the feeling. I'm waiting till Revolution. I need to see this full building, this totality. If we get to Revolution still on the gas, then we're fully back. But we're loading. I'm not ready to say we're fully back here, but we're loading. Stuff is happening.
Enough has happened from the back end of last year to see that we're definitely in the right direction. The direction of the ship is back as to where it needs to be going. And even with the Bucks saying it as bluntly as they have, that we kind of, lost our way, but we're bringing it back. Yeah, I'm here for all of it, man. So yeah, man, big up everyone that's joined live. Big up everyone that's going to watch it back. This is Revolution Radio, and we'll be here same time next week. See you later.